Kids, today I'm going to call this video Dream a Little Dream. Now, um, I'm doing this so I remember this dream because I have therapy coming up, and I often wonder. I have a lot of very vivid dreams over a variety of topics, and sometimes they're recurring, and sometimes they're like part of the same dream, but it like continues on or something. But I'll use, let's say, the same background or whatever, or for some reason it'll feel or seem like it was familiar from previous dreams, whether it was not, and that's all an illusion, just like everyday life is an illusion. But I wanted to share this one dream I had, and this was last night, um, because I found it somehow really interesting, even more so than my normal dreams. So let's set out the parameters. First, I'm insane. Second, I tend to be a very gentle giant. People often see me or hear me and think I'm really short, and I'm not. I'm like 6'2.5", so I'm not a small little guy. Um, I don't know why people look at me and assume that, but I'm really not. I'm like 6'2.5". I weigh about 240, so I'm not a little kid. I'm more like a baby Huey. Um, but I have a gentle nature, and by that I mean most of the time. If you push me hard enough, long enough, and get me to snap, I can be very violent, and to the point where I feel like I'm losing control. So I try never to get there. I try never to let or allow people to get me there. So, and I worked hard on that all my life because I saw as a young child, being much taller than the other kids, that when I lost my temper, I could just literally pulverize them and do serious damage. I mean, literally just smash their teeth against the monkey bars at school all day long. So, who wants to have all their teeth replaced when they're 7? Um, Not a cute thing. So I've learned to control my temper at a very young age, and I really don't have one. I'm a very, like I said, laid back kind of guy. So last night I was in this very long dream that involved going to a foreign country in an airplane, which I had a previous dream about the night before, and going to this particular hotel complex and downtown complex, which I had the previous night before, and having some adventures, and then getting arrested and having to ride a bicycle pulling a truck um, was really strange. To this, like I had to like recreate this thing that they were trying to blame me for that I didn't do. So I got out of that situation, and then I was on this trip um, because there was supposedly some kind of event going on. I guess like a convention. So last night I went back to this place and this hotel, and it looks nice. And like the hotel was a building, but had multiple buildings out to the sides and the back, kind of shaped like an H. But it also had it was also like built into the town, so the touristy side part of it looked really nice, but behind the rooms was basically slums. And you never saw those. I didn't see them until last night. So I started dreaming, and and I'm going to share this actually with a few people that are on my Facebook page, because you're in the dream. But a lot of people know I had a very long childhood friendship with the Baglioni family, and I have several Baglionis on my Facebook page, and we're all very close. But one of the Baglionis no longer exists, and his name is Milo. And Milo was front and center in my dream last night. And I had not dreamt of or thought of Milo being alive for eons, because Milo's been dead for quite a while. And so I was I was getting ready to check out of this hotel, and this hotel has a history. I would walk around and like there was like this dune with sand, and when I first got to the hotel, it was like this nude beach and pool recreation area for heterosexual people to drink and be naked and fornicate. And then they decided that wasn't acceptable, so um, then they made the people put on the clothes. Then they filled up the pool with sand, and then they turned it into a miniature golf course. And they took that out, and they just left it like it looked like tar sands. It was just ugly, ugly old hill, for example. Then they had like this something that was like this gay bathhouse thing that was supposedly their spa, and then that was just really raunchy. And then I guess they complained about that too. So then they ended up turning the opera house into a movie theater, which played regular movies, but all kinds of people, both the straights and the gays, would go into this opera house and in this movie theater and basically get naked and have raunchy sex. So, but the sex was not the integral part of the the, the, the thing there. It was just I just thought it was strange how it kept changing and how they kept changing the location and changing the mix, but they always had one place that they did this in public, and I just thought it was bizarre um, for me. I mean, I'm believe me, I'm no prude, but I just thought it was bizarre. So, um, as I was getting ready to check out, because it was time to leave, I went into a big um, like I guess one of those dining halls that you rent at a hotel, like a ballroom. And there was this enormous ballroom, and Mr. Baglioni and Mrs. Baglioni, or Emilio and Pauline, were there, and Paula was there, and Marcella was there, and Samantha was there, but they're all in different phases of their life. Some were younger, older than they are now. It made no sense as far as chronologically. It made no sense. So during my vacation, I had bought a couple of airplanes. As everybody knows, I'm this like avid airplane collector. So I bought this really cool all glass, but inside the glass they had a perfectly detailed 747 of a brand of 747, like the 200 series. And I set it down to watch this children's play and lecture that the Baglioni parents were giving to these kids. It was like some kind of like wrap up for this musical or something, or some kind of play. And I set it down on the carpeting, and then when I picked it up, I noticed that it was chipped, and one of the wings and part of the tail was broken off. And I picked up the pieces and I put it in my pocket, and then I noticed it was just starting to literally just crack apart. And Paula Baglioni came to me and said, "Don't worry, when I get, I'll take it with me because I know how to fix this at home. I'm great with glass, and I'll make it all better and send it back to you." So I'm like, "Oh my God, thank God." And then this other plane that was supposed to have these foldable wings broke. One of them broke, and then it got sliced, and I knew I was going to have to glue that together, and I was getting really frustrated. So as I walked to my room, suddenly I realized that there were gangs of people in this hotel, and because there was a lot of people checking out, there were gangs, and they were scoping the area out. And essentially, what they were doing was they were robbing the hotel guests before they left, and taking everything they bought and anything that was of any value. So you would leave this place with nothing, essentially, with maybe your life. So I got to where I was supposed to be staying in this room, which was like far away, and I noticed they were following me, and I was talking to Milo, who's dead, but he was alive in my dream, and we were like, I said, "There's something going on here. There's something going on here," and he's like, "I don't know, I don't know." So we kept walking. We opened the door to this room that I was staying in, and these guys tried to muscle in to the room to start breaking in, and they made their intentions known at that time that that's what they were going to do. So I was trying to hold them out of the room, and then Milo did like this really weird, like kind of like karate kick kind of thing. I forget what they called it, what I called it in the dream, but it was really cool, and it knocked them all out. So we got the door closed and locked, and we were safe. We knew we were safe inside, but eventually we'd have to leave and go over to the other rooms and get everybody else out. So when we did, of course, the guys were right there. They had woken up and now they were mad. So they followed us to the next room, which was to get some of the girls out. I think Samantha or my little brother and whatever, out of this other room. And um, they wouldn't leave us alone. I said, leave me alone. I'm not playing this anymore. I'm not scared of you, and you're not going to get the best of me. Even there's three of you, I'm not going to let you get the best of me. Don't make me mad. Don't make me mad. And they kept pushing and kept pushing, and they were like hitting me and taunting me and annoying me. So I finally looked around and I found something. It was like, it was almost like a peeler, like a potato peeler on a stick, like on a broomstick. Don't ask, it's my dream. Um, and I grabbed it and I finally had enough and I just shoved it into the sky, but it wasn't sharp enough to go in real easily. So then I just kept forcing it and forcing it and forcing it until it finally pierced into his skin. And then I started twisting and twisting, but it was hard. It wasn't twisting easily. So I could feel myself straining. I'm like, I hope I have enough strength to twist this to do some damage because I don't want this guy coming after me. I want this to be done. So then it finally gave and I started to twist. And then I twisted it the other way and it got stuck. And I twisted again and then I pulled it out and then I stuck it back in. And he had this look on his face of absolute surprise that I was doing this. And it was really hard at first. And it made me sad because I remember looking in this guy's eyes and saying, wow, I'm really doing this. And I couldn't believe it. But then there were more of them. Suddenly they were like all over the room, these guys. And I started finding different things to basically stab them with and twist. And it didn't get easier physically, but it got easier emotionally and mentally to the point where I stopped being a victim at all and I started basically hunting them. And then I went outside looking for more because I was so pissed. Um, I was just morally offended. And I ended up corralling a whole bunch of them by the swimming pool, which looked like something you would find at a 1950s Howard Johnson. The swimming pool was really strange. Um, but I ended up just like slaughtering all these people and enjoying it at the end when I woke up. And then it was, of course, my dogs that woke me up because they wanted breakfast. And I mean, it kind of makes sense if you're a dog and you want fresh meat for breakfast, you know, have your owner have a dream about slaughtering a whole bunch of people. Um, but it disturbed me on a level because I realized that how easy it is to snap and how easy it is to take that leap or that jump. And when it comes to people with mental illness, um, we're always given a bad rap on this, but it doesn't take a mental illness to get to that point where you actually can do that. Perfectly sane people can snap and do often, and it's usually the mentally ill that take the rap for it. But I wanted to share this dream with myself because I thought it was important. I'm going into therapy and I want to talk about it because I enjoyed the bloodlust more than I thought I would. I'm not, like, again, I'm not a violent person. I don't like shooting guns. I don't like being around guns. I don't even like watching animals. I don't like even looking at pictures of hurt animals. Bothers me. Roadkill bothers me. I'm not that violent guy. But apparently I could be inside. And not only really violent, but enjoying it and crafty about it too, and resourceful. And I don't know how to feel about that, particularly with my conditions. So thought it would be an interesting share for those of you that really like my stories. Um, Here's one of my dreams. I just dreamed a little dream with you. So have a good one.